Hello, everyone. If you're someone who struggles with feeling powerless in social situations, you need to watch this. Today, we're diving deep into the shadowy waters of dark psychology to uncover tactics that can dramatically shift your influence in everyday situations. This is about understanding the primal instincts, the subconscious triggers, the stuff that makes people tick. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell to not miss out on any of our powerful insights. This first one is deceptively simple. Silence can be a powerful tool. It can be super uncomfortable, especially in a conversation, right? But that's where the magic happens. Embrace the silence after someone speaks. They might start rambling, revealing more than they intended. All right, next up, we're tapping into the power of mirroring. Now, I'm not talking about straight up mimicking someone's every move. That's just creepy. This is about subtle cues, man. Pay attention to how the person you're talking to is sitting, how they're holding their hands, their facial expressions. Subtly start to mirror those things back to them. You'd be amazed how much more receptive people become when they feel like you're on the same page. Knowledge is power, my friends, and that's never truer than when it comes to dark psychology. The more you know about someone, the better equipped you are to influence them. Think about it like a chess game. You gotta know your opponent's moves, their weaknesses, their motivations. So how do you gather this intel? Social media is your friend here. People reveal a lot more than they realize if you just listen closely. Chapter 4, Foot in the Door Technique. This one's a classic, and for good reason, it works. The foot in the door technique is all about getting someone to agree to a small, seemingly insignificant request first. Once they've said yes to that initial request, they're much more likely to agree to a larger, more significant request later on. Why? Because we like to be consistent with our actions. Once we've committed to something, even something small, we're more likely to stay on that path. Chapter 5, Fear-Inducing Scenarios. Now, this one's a little more, shall we say, edgy. But hey, we're talking about dark psychology here, right? This tactic is all about tapping into people's fear of loss or danger. You carefully highlight potential problems or risks they might face, painting a picture of a worst-case scenario. But here's the key. You don't leave them hanging in fear. You position yourself as the solution, the guide who can help them navigate these treacherous waters. Chapter 6, Us versus Them Mentality. This one's a tale as old as time, my friends. Humans are tribal creatures. We crave belonging, a sense of community. And nothing brings people together like a common enemy. This tactic is all about creating that us versus them mentality, subtly positioning yourself and the person you're trying to influence on the same side of a perceived divide. Chapter 7, The Door in the Face Technique. This one's the opposite of the foot in the door, but just as effective. It's all about starting with a large, almost outrageous request, something you know the other person is going to reject. When they inevitably say no, you come back with a smaller, more reasonable request, the one you actually wanted all along. Now, because they feel bad about rejecting you initially, they're much more likely to say yes to the smaller request. Chapter 8, Time Pressure. Ever notice how those limited time offers always seem to light a fire under you? That's no accident, my friends. Time pressure is a powerful motivator. When people feel like they have to make a decision quickly, they don't have time to think things through rationally. By imposing deadlines, even artificial ones, you can create a sense of urgency that makes people more susceptible to your influence. Just think about those Black Friday sales. Chapter 9, Planned Spontaneity. This one takes finesse. Be prepared, but make it look spontaneous. Casually bring up key points like spontaneous thoughts, then circle back to those points later. Sneak past their defenses without them realizing. Chapter 10, Selective Honesty. Look, I'm not advocating for lying here, but sometimes the truth needs a little context. This tactic is all about using honesty strategically to disarm your opponent and create an opening for manipulation. Start by revealing something genuine, something that makes you vulnerable or relatable. This builds trust, making the other person more likely to let their guard down. Chapter 11, NLP Anchoring. All right, we're getting into some next-level stuff here. NLP, or Neuro-Linguistic Programming, is all about the connection between language, behavior, and the nervous system. Anchoring is a technique used to trigger specific emotional states in yourself or others. Here's how it works. You identify a time when you felt a particular emotion very strongly. Confidence, calmness, whatever it may be. Then you associate that emotion with a specific word, phrase, or even a physical gesture. Chapter 12, Deception with the Truth. This one's a bit of a mind bender. It's about using the truth in a way that misdirects or misleads. Think of it like a magician using sleight of hand. You're not lying outright, but you're presenting information in a way that leads the other person to a false conclusion. Now, I'm not saying you should go around yelling at people, but sometimes a controlled outburst can be a powerful way to assert dominance and shift the power dynamic in your favor. The key here is control. It's about channeling your anger or frustration in a way that is calculated and strategic. This can be especially effective in situations where you need to command respect or set boundaries. Ever notice how people tend to associate you with the company you keep? That's the halo effect in action. We naturally make assumptions about people based on their affiliations, whether it's their friends, their colleagues, or even the brands they wear. This means you can strategically leverage this effect to boost your own credibility and influence. Surround yourself with successful, well-respected people. People will subconsciously associate you with those positive attributes, making you more persuasive and influential. This one's all about piquing curiosity, creating an irresistible lure. It's about dangling something desirable just out of reach. This could be anything from gossip to an exclusive opportunity. Once they're hooked, you can reel them in. This can be a powerful way to extract information, get people to reveal their true intentions. Chapter 16, Reciprocity. This one taps into a fundamental human instinct, the desire to repay favors. When someone does something nice for us, we feel obligated to do something nice in return. By offering small gifts or favors, you can create a sense of indebtedness in the other person. They'll feel compelled to reciprocate, even if it's in a way that's disproportionate to your initial gesture. The key is to be genuine and not make it transactional. Chapter 17, Sunk Cost Fallacy. Ever stick with something way longer than you should have just because you'd already invested so much into it? That's the sunk cost fallacy, a powerful tool for persuasion. The more people invest, the harder it is to walk away. Use this by getting people to commit to small things first. Once they've invested a little, they're likely to invest more. Sometimes the best way to win is to confuse your opponent. By overwhelming people with information, you can cloud their judgment and make it harder for them to make rational decisions. This is especially effective when you're dealing with complex issues or topics that people don't fully understand. The goal is to create a sense of overwhelm, so they're more likely to defer to your expertise or just give up trying to understand altogether. Chapter 19, Gaslighting. This one's straight out of a psychological thriller, but it's more common than you might think. Gaslighting is a form of emotional abuse where the manipulator tries to make the victim doubt their own sanity. They might deny reality, twist facts, or even plant false memories. The goal is to undermine the victim's confidence and make them dependent on the manipulator for validation. Chapter 20. The Scarcity Illusion. We want what we can't have. The scarcity illusion plays on this desire by making things seem more valuable when they're perceived as being in short supply. By creating a sense of scarcity, you create a sense of urgency and desire. People are more likely to act impulsively when they feel like they might miss out. This is why those limited time offers are so effective. And there you have it. 20 dark psychology tactics that can empower you and transform how you interact with the world. Remember, with great power comes great responsibility. Use these techniques ethically and protect yourself against them being used on you. We've all encountered these tactics, whether we realize it or not. The key is awareness. Until next time, keep analyzing and stay empowered.